forget we're recording. Lou, damn it. You're supposed to tell us when we're recording.
Trick them again.
It started getting really good too quick.
Is that what we're calling it nowadays?
Don't.
All right.
Or do you want to do?
Well, wait a minute. Before we get going,
Mhm.
I had something really, really special happen to me today.
To tell.
And, with the kids. And about, let's say 6 months ago, I sat them down and we were talking about one of their cousins who's a really good violist. And they asked me, how did he get so good? And yeah, he's talented, but a lot of people are talented. And so I started to explain, I said 10,000 hours. And then
The book.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
So I said, well, that's kind of the watermark for becoming great or an expert at something. And so I don't remember how it went, but we disbanded. And now 6 months fast forward, I get a text about Louis, my son, my youngest of 3, TikTok. And he put a mashup of years. So he has a boxing dummy in his mother's basement. And he kicks it. He's worked on his kick. And that's kind of his...
Say really quick, like he doesn't just go kick it. He's a Muay Thai.
He's a
fighter.
Yeah,
he's a fighter.
got a record.
Yeah,
he's done well in turn. It's what he
He
does.
doesn't just get mad and go to his room and kick a dummy.
And his skadoosh, right, is this high kick. And so he's been doing it. And you never know what made me think about it, what made me emotional about it is because, the kids leave, you're busy training them the whole time. And you always wonder, what are they like when you're not in the room?
Yeah.
How are they acting when you're not watching? And so he posts this mashup of him in this basement when who knows what else is going on in his life. But he's kicking this thing and punching this thing and working on his game. And it's over years. And it's a 30-second reel. And just over top of it, he said, one kick 10,000 times.
Oh my gosh.
That's really
And
cool.
it was beautiful. It's amazing.
All the
Papa.
hair stood up on the back of my neck.
Yeah.
So I
Did
love
you
it.
have a you're not crying? I'm not crying. You're crying.
Your eyes sweating a little bit.
Firestone? I was crying. I was crying,
Yeah,
Lloyd.
man. Yeah. It's interesting because I can think back on the times where the kids repeated something back to me that I had said and how incredible it felt. But for every time I had that feeling, I can remember them doing the same thing and repeating back to me something I had said that I was like, oh no. I can't believe they heard that. Right.
Yeah.
And I think,
Wait, talk for a second. What for the listeners who probably have younger kids or kids younger than ours, what was the time frame? Because that's an important thing to know.
so yeah, if you say something to them and they say it back to you later that day, I'm thrilled they heard it at all.
Okay.
But a lot of times you think you're talking and they're hearing Charlie's, Brown's teacher. For me, periodically, a month, a year, multiple years
Sometimes
later,
10 years,
they'd say things and you go, wow,
Yeah.
they actually were listening. The challenge is that they also would repeat things in my voice that I wish had never come out of my mouth. Look, we're standing up here with microphones, and the last thing I ever want is for the people who are listening to us to think that we're saying, hey, we're so great and you're so terrible that we're going to bestow this wisdom upon you. This is more about, scars, right? And when the kids were little, I used to say all the time, I'm like, listen, if you want to continue to stub your toe, go ahead. And then it wasn't getting a lot of traction. And the thing that I went to was I said, if you want to continue to lose this video game level over and over, do it. When you're ready to come to somebody who already beat that level and get the cheat code, let me know. I'm not going to force you to do it with things that are not life-threatening, but I don't know the answer because I'm smarter or better than you. I just know the answer because I already died those 10,000 times trying to get through the level, right? So to a lot of the parents that are out there, yes, you're a pediatrician. Yes, I like to think that we care a lot and but the reality is we're just saying, and in a lot of cases, don't do that. I mean, you and I could give me an example of your not finest moment.
Right. So we're real people and we're not preaching from the top of the mountain. So okay, we're going to be real though. This isn't going to be like humble brag where it's like
you say a really terrible one and then I'll say one that's really not bad at all.
No, this is not. I'll show you mine if you show me.
Oh no, gotta go.
This can't be like when you interview for the job and they go, "Tell us your 3 worst." What is it? Your 3
I'm a
worst.
bit of a perfectionist.
I just can't stop doing enough for the organization. We're not going to do that kind of crap because people need to know that this is real.
I'm honest to a fault.
Right. People need to know that we have royally screwed up, not just like, oh, we whatever.
There are 2 kinds of parents. There's the parents who make mistakes, and then there's the liars.
Right.
That's all there are. The fake ones.
Right.
And by the way, the ones who are the most perfect on Facebook and are the most perfect in conversation and the most perfect everything else, they're liars. They're sham.
And they're lying to themselves. Anyway,
I'll start my Facebook. 1 sec.
I'll start with a funny one I told a mom yesterday. Speaking of there are 2 kinds of parents: those who have dropped their children and those who will. Right. Everybody comes in like, I can't believe and they're afraid to tell me, and I'm like, yeah, welcome to the club.
It happens.
I'm so sorry this happened.
That happens.
Human beings are tough. Okay. So here we go. I'm thinking when we're doing this. You want
I got one.
Okay, you want my worst one, my most. I'll save the real one. Okay, go ahead.
I got one.
Okay.
So my youngest comes to me and says, "Dad, my foot hurts." She's playing 11 sports at the time, right? "Dad, my foot hurts." And I say, "Are you hurt or are you injured?" There was pre-established on this. "I'm just hurt." Okay. So like a couple weeks go by. "Dad, my foot hurts." Is it hurt? Are you hurt or are you injured? Meanwhile, she's growing like a string bean, right? Just like a weed. So I say, "Ice it if you care." Comes back to me. It's like a month later. It's like, "Dad, my foot hurts." I go, "Have you been icing it?" "No." I don't want to hear it. Right? She's growing fast, whatever. So then we're on the boat. She walks by me in a pair of flip-flops, and I go, "What the hell's the matter with your foot?" She goes, "What are you talking about?" And I go, "Why is it purple? Like the whole knuckle around your foot is purple." And she says, "I told you my foot hurts." And I said, "You told me you weren't injured. You said it hurt." She goes, "I'm 13. I'm like, "Oh my God, what have I done? What have I done?" Right. Long story short, she had a broken sesamoid bone, which as her doctor, she has a broken sesamoid bone. She ends up having 3 bone grafts from her hip to her foot. She misses like a year, right, of all sorts of stuff. It was talk about father of the year.
Yeah. So
right?
I'll tell you mine like that, and then I'll tell you what I tell people when they come in feeling bad. So our older daughter kept coming to me. She was in like 4th grade. "My ankle really hurts. What'd you do?" "I stepped on a beanbag." "Okay, well, take it off." Right? "I stepped on a beanbag in aftercare." "Okay." So the next day it really hurt. She's kind of hobbling around, but kind of not. "Okay." 3 or 4 days. "What'd you do?" "I stepped on a beanbag." "Did you do anything else?" I actually listened to her. "Did you step in a hole? Did you?" "No, I stepped on a beanbag." "Okay." And so finally, like 4 days later, I took her and they took an x-ray and her ankle is definitely broken. And I'm in there with the orthopedist and he goes, "Well, so we've got a fracture here." And I'm a doctor. And I go, "You mean like you're kind of diagnosing her with like a little fracture?" And he points at the ankle. He goes, "Right here." "You big stupid dummy." And it wasn't until we're walking out, I'm carrying her out with her pink cast. I was like, "Oh, she has a broken ankle." So I felt a little bad about that. So, but what I'll tell you is you can respond to every boo-boo and every complaint and you'll never have that feeling. So we have the feeling of like, "Oh, sorry." If you want to avoid that, you can respond to every little thing and you will raise your child to be super neurotic, or you can kind of do this and not respond to every little thing.
Sorry, guys.
We need a cough button.
I'm dying.
And then you can.
It's a fine line.
You can do what we did.
It depends what the complaint is.
Yeah,
it depends.
right.
Because if you respond every time the kid is, but
you teach them that's how they get attention.
I've also done, I've also overreacted. I think we've all done that, right? Where somebody comes to you and says, this hurts or that hurts, and you kind of have to look at the kid. You have to know the kid a little bit. You have to make a judgment call. I've sent the kid to school because I knew they didn't want to take the test. To get the call, they bombed it all over the floor in class, right? I mean, you get that one, right?
Yeah.
I feel bad about it. I think you kind of weigh. If somebody says, "Hey, I'm having an issue with my vision," you don't want to play the tough card. Maybe
if they can't walk,
right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Okay, so go
I
again.
did a lot on the tough. I did one on each of them for that one. The youngest wrecks the car at the end of the street. Just 17. She didn't get her license till she was into her 16 year. 17 years old, gets in an accident. Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. How fast are you going? About 12 miles an hour. Got it. Who'd you hit? Oh, it's actually a kid I go to school with. Okay. Did you call the police? She called the police. Okay. I'm spinning circles. I said, she goes, well, are you coming now? I go, no, you can handle this. I've told you everything to do. I stood up. It was literally down the street. It was at the end of our street pulling on me. She handled the whole thing. Called her, you okay? Blah, 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 blah. Short answers, but she was okay. Are you hurt? Do you want to come home? Do you want to see a doctor? No, I'm fine. I was going 12 miles an hour. Okay. To this day, that was 5 years ago, she's still furious at me with that one.
For not coming.
The worst thing you ever did to me was not being there for me when I had the accident.
Huh.
Hates me, hates that I didn't show up for the accident. I said to her, I go, I wanted you to be able to handle one of the most stressful situations you're going to run into in your daily life. When you didn't need me. Since then, I've shown up in an accident she's had a bunch of them, but she can handle it. She knows. I just thought that'd be her way to do it. The middle daughter, similar deal, calls. I hit a curb. I got a flat tire. Great. Change it. I can't get it off. I tried. Keep trying. 30 minutes later, I call her, no answer. 40 minutes later, I call her. Finally, an hour later, she calls me crying. I really can't get it off. I'm like, I've shown you how to change a tire, right? What if you were in another state? What if it was the middle of the night? What is blah, blah. All right, I'm on my way. So I drive over. I couldn't get it off. It rusted. It was totally rusted on. I'm 6.5 feet tall, 225 pounds. I got a hammer. I'm hitting it with a mallet. I took it to a shop. The shop put the pneumatic thing on. It's like, what's wrong with this thing? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah, that's a bad one. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
But I apologized. I did. I didn't say.
You taught her how to make a good apology. That's funny.
I said, listen, I'm sorry. I was trying to get you to do the right thing, blah, blah, and I didn't realize you were trying your very best. And there was absolutely no way you're going. I'm sorry. Being able to apologize makes up for some of this.
That's true. All right. We'll do a couple more light ones, and then I got at least one heavy one. Why is it always the daughters? No, I have a couple of good ones with the older son. Our daughter was 2.5, and we were in Puerto Rico, and we were renting a car. And we were on the side of the road waiting to rent the car. And she was being a 2.5-year-old. She was throwing some kind of tantrum. I sat her down on a wall, a little low cement wall, sit in timeout. She sits down. She starts screaming louder. The tantrum's getting worse. I'm like, yeah, well, she's just going to learn. I got to tell people all day, you got to wait out the tantrums. So I'm waiting out the tantrums. I looked out. She's covered in red ants. She never stood up. God. She never stood up. And she was crying louder. I was like, that's not the bad one? No, I mean, that's not the seriously emotional one. No, I don't feel good about that. But
Oh my Lord. All right, here's a fun one, Lou. You'll like this one because you know all the players. Special needs son is like, for the listeners don't know, son with autism, nonverbal, eats everything, will eat rock, eat dirt, eat whatever, anything. Pica. My brother-in-law was famous for leaving 3/4 drank Miller Lights around the house. He would like be talking to you and he'd set it up on the mantle behind a picture or something. And then he couldn't find his beer. He'd go, it's like you in the cup of water all the time after you work out. He did it today. So anyway, Tanya's like, hey, I've got to go to the store, do whatever. My wife's just going, so you got Bowen? I'm like, yeah, I got Bowen. You had to watch Bowen, but I was a little distracted with SportsCenter. So he's being quiet. And we all know when Bowen's being quiet, something's going wrong. So I'm like, gosh, Bowen. He doesn't come. It's a Monday morning. I know it's a Monday morning because we had family dinner Sunday night. I walk in. He has 2 Miller Lite cans in his pajamas on a Monday morning before, like 8 a.m. Reeks of beer. He's spilled it down his chest. The one is empty, and the other one is like a touch left in it. And I walk in. He's like trying to get the last bit of it out of there. And I'm like, Tanya, I don't know if I can send him to school. He reeks of beer. So I had to take him upstairs and wash him and brush his teeth again. Oh my gosh, yeah, that was not my best.
So, all right, we'll take it more serious. So one thing that a bunch of patients always feel better when they come in and they're yelling and screaming at their kids, and we know like yelling and screaming isn't necessarily option A, but we don't know what to do. I definitely spent I had like a 2-year period where every morning I made the bed. So the kids were 4 and 2, let's say. I made myself a card because I got tired of this. Every time I made my bed in the morning, I'd put this little card on my pillow. So when I went to bed that night and I pulled the sheet back, I would see this card. And the card said, "Did you yell too much today?" And every time for 2 years, I'd pull the sheet back and see the card and go, God damn it, I did yell too much today.
Yeah, that one happens. That's all the time. A lot.
That's all the time.
I mean, so retrospect, right? I mean, there's a reason they say hindsight's 20/20, right? I mean, it's very easy to turn around and look at what we did and say what a mistake.
Wait,
this
are you
was.
done? Because I got one more.
Oh no, I'm not
okay,
done.
okay.
I could go on for days on this train. But I will say, you really, really, really get introspective, right? When you lose a child, you start to go back and go through it over and over again. I missed this opportunity. I missed this opportunity. I missed this opportunity. And for me, that was a very dangerous path to go down, of regret. I'm not a big fan of regret. I'm a big fan of fixing things. I'm a big fan of being better. I'm a big fan of whatever, right? But I can remember when I was little, divorced parents, I wanted attention from my dad. I wanted attention from my mom. I said that I wanted the attention because of the challenges with that. So I would always make time. My wife was always with her son so much. I would always make time with our youngest daughter before our middle daughter was adopted. And I would see these parents that would be, I can remember being at McGarvey's for brunch. And I would see this dad all the time there reading his paper while the 4-year-old just sat there like, hey, Dad, have such and such. Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. And just like was so bothered and whatever. Right. And I just used to watch it. And it was, for me, I was learning from what I saw that I hated about his actions and then going through what I had that I didn't like myself as a child. So I always wanted to be present, but I also made a lot of mistakes with confusing being present with being too doting. Because, I'm not a helicopter parent, right? I'm not that. I love to see them fail and learn from it and go through those things. But that for me was, to this day, was a big challenge of where you went. So then when I look back, oh my God, here's all these things I didn't do with Bowen. Okay, I've got to then be extra attentive and appreciative of the ones I have. And how do I prevent myself from throwing again too much in that? So that's been another one that, and we get in the serious part of it. That's been another one that's been a huge challenge for me, is how do you give them everything that you can possibly give them that's good for them? Because we know if you give them everything, you ruin them, right? So where is that line, and how do you get? That's been a challenge for me over the last. I mean, it's been 6 years. That's been a big challenge for me because they were 16 years old.
I think that's a natural reaction that all of us are carrying around, whether we're conscious of it or not, is feeling like we're trying to heal old hurts that we've had. Maybe we're conscious of it, maybe we're not. What's the right amount of love? Trying to give our kids what we felt like we didn't have, or what we needed, or that one thing.
Yeah.
And then sorting out, like you said, the only way to give your kid everything they need is to give them way too much. Because
no, because sometimes they need less.
Right, but that's what I mean.
Right.
Like, so that's why it's an art, and that's why we're imperfect. That you're never going to achieve it. And I guess, and I feel like a lot of people nowadays, what you're talking about, the being there in the moment and what you're trying to give them, there's a difference between the maximum amount and the optimum amount.
Right.
And I think sometimes for me that helps me, that more is not necessarily always better. That's a very general thing to say.
And I'll get on tracks, right, where I'll go, okay, look, I've been giving too much. I've been not reliable enough in my discipline or in whatever. I've been letting it slide a little bit. So then I'll get on I would back then get on the track of discipline. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not enjoying being a parent right now. All I'm doing is constantly on them about make your bed, clean this and do this, and you're this and this is responsible. So there's that balance as well, right? Of, one of the things you say all the time is choose your battles. I know for a fact, man, there have been times where every single thing was a battle. Mm-hmm. And that had less to do with them than myself.
So I got into that one time when
No, I was saying you just, when you bring work home, when you have relationship issues, and all marriages have relationship issues, that affects which battles you're choosing.
Yeah. I read this thing one time about Ernest Hemingway when he was young. Talk about back in the day, what kind of podcast would they have had? Back when he was in elementary school and he would go hunting in the woods by himself. Talk about like not helicopter parenting. His dad, there's a story about his dad would give him 3 shotgun shells to go for an afternoon of hunting in the woods. And he talked about how it made him a really good hunter, and it also made him really be choosy with his shot. So I read that because I was in a period that you're talking about, man, I'm picking every battle. I'm trying to teach every frickin' lesson every second of the day. And so I did go through a period where I said, you get 3 corrections a day. Because it was like a practical, I was trying to break out of this mental thing. And I was like, how can I break out of it? So I said, you are allowed 3 corrections a day. And so that at 8:30 a.m. when I was starting in on
3 a day,
your shoes are on backwards or whatever, it made me start to go, okay, is this one, do I want to spend one of these right now? So that was a little mental gymnastic that helped me.
That's a pretty, so
it helped.
So my advice,
but back to the theme of this episode.
Well, no. So
it's not like I became the greatest dad ever.
No, but again, these are things that we're not telling other people to put in place. These are the things we were trying to do with ourselves.
These are the piles of poop we already stepped in
to try to help manage our own challenges on this, right? So for me, I always struggled because I felt like I had to teach my kids everything. Right? If I didn't teach them something, then that's the landmine they were going to step on that was going to do them in. So I had to teach them everything it was, about how to drive and how to treat people and how to value things and money and God and family and everything constantly. And it was exhausting. Right? So choosing your battles, which was something you used to hit me with a lot as advice, was a big deal. The thing that helped me start to identify what I was doing wrong was trying to identify my compass heading, right? I say all the time, you need to know where you're going, right? If you don't know where you're going, how do you know how you're making out on the way there, right? Or how far you've come. So for me, the compass heading was, I want to raise kids that I would want to spend time with. And that was kind of the little background compass heading, right?
That's a good one.
Because I don't want to spend time with people that are degenerates. I don't want to spend, other than you guys. I don't want to spend time with people that are so insecure or are, have to be the center of the universe or any of those things, right? I want to spend time with people that are thoughtful and caring and giving and are willing to be wrong and say they're sorry and are open and honest and are empathetic. So once you identify kind of a compass heading, and it's going to be different for listeners. Some of the listeners are going to want to raise a child that is
financially stable
or super accomplished. That's going to matter. I want them to be, whatever. If that's what you want, you have to figure out where you want them to be ultimately. Goes back to our story about the girls, right? What do you want them to be when they're 40? What do you want to be when they're 50? And then, so that's how I started to at least try to narrow it down. Because otherwise, I mean,
you're all over the place.
You're all over the place.
Today's day we're going to learn to change the oil. It's a good chance. And it's like, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. So we'll take it even a deeper level. So back to our confessions to try to, I think one of the privileges of my job is that I get to sit behind a closed door and get a front row seat to people's lives. And people, it's a sacred honor and privilege. And everybody thinks that they're the only worst person in the world. And I would, if it weren't for HIPAA, I think it would be so therapeutic for everybody to know that everybody is equally beating themselves up and thinking that
you're wrong. You're only right.
And that's all we got for today.
When did the band break up? When did the band break up? You're wrong.
Okay.
Everybody is not doing their best and wanting to do their best.
Doing their best. I didn't say doing their best.
Exactly.
Beating themselves up equally. Yeah, you're right. Okay,
I'm aware.
Many people, the people I respect, are beating themselves up.
The people who I would say are probably listening to this podcast because they genuinely want to be better.
They're being deliberate about.
I would agree that our good hooligans are indeed doing that. But I've met lots of people who are not thinking about anything outside of themselves or what's the easiest to do.
That is true.
I remember the houses where the kids could go and get hammered and drink and do drugs and have sex and everything else they wanted to do at those parents' house. And you know why? Because those parents had no interest in parenting those kids. So,
okay, you're right.
All right.
In the subset of
going
people
back
I'm
to
talking
our
about.
good hooligans.
Yes. Okay. I think it would be nice. People do feel better when they go, oh my gosh, other people are deeply struggling with this, or other people are deeply upset. Kids really make you really angry and frustrated, and real parents get really angry and frustrated, and that's normal. So in the spirit of I can't tell other people's stories, but I can definitely say that. So when our first was born, he's 6 days old. I am at that point, a 30-year-old, double Ivy League educated, trained at a top 10 children's hospital, and just finished being the chief resident of the top 10 children's hospital in the country. Who's more qualified than I am? 6 days old. His mom went out to run an errand, I think because it was like her first time out of the house. She just wanted to get out of the house. He started crying. He cried for 3 hours while she was gone. Crying. I'm trying to feed him, trying to do all this stuff. I got so frustrated that all of a sudden so this is also a funny story. She came back. I was trying anything. I was trying to feed him. I was trying to bounce him, anything.
Your hairy nipples that were preventing
hold on. She came in as I was like, maybe he just wants to breastfeed. So I took off my shirt and held a pacifier at my chest and was trying to simulate breast. That's how desperate I was.
The views of Dr. Parmalee do not represent.
I was
not necessarily represent the views of good hooligans.
She walks in. I'm holding a pacifier at my chest, trying to simulate breastfeeding, until she comes up. She goes, "What the hell are you doing?" So that was the funny part. But the scary part was, in those 3 hours, I went, oh my God. So I had taken care of shaken babies. When people shake their babies, they generally become neurodevastated. It's a horrible thing for everybody. And until that moment, there was that little piece of you that was like, oh, only horrible people shake their babies. And so in those 3 hours, once I got over once she said, "What the hell are you doing?" She literally saw tears on my face. She said, "Why are you crying?" And I said, now I understand why people shake their babies.
Oh my God.
And I did not shake the baby. So the most important thing is Nate Bargatze, our favorite comedian, has told us this would be awesome if you don't shake this baby. So if you when you get to that point, so that's the trick. When you get to that point, you need to put the baby down in the crib and go outside, and it's okay if the baby is screaming.
Two things.
You need to take yourself away from that baby.
Middle class parents with children who are fed and have had their medicines and are in a warm or cool home, they don't die from crying.
Right.
For an hour to set them.
That's correct.
Right.
Right.
And it's important to remember that. I'm gonna say something though, and this is gonna sound. Hopefully, it'll be heard the way I mean for it to be. The way I mean to say it.
You already told me I was wrong.
If I polled 100 people in my life and asked who the people are that they've most wanted to strangle over the course of their lifetimes, I'd be willing to bet you the lion's share of them would say the people they love the most. Yeah. It would be a wife, it would be a child, it would be a parent, it would be a brother, it would be a best, because no one can make us more insane than the ones we love. Right. I mean,
right. And a baby, there's something about a baby crying, and especially when it's your baby crying.
So what I was going to say to what you were experiencing, you experienced it, in my opinion, because you knew everything right to do. You weren't a doctor. No, you weren't a doctor. You were a dad, and you were a new dad, and you were just as dumb as all those other new dads for a minute, and everything else that you knew and everything else, it just went away. Yeah. Right.
I would even say I became a caveman dad. Like, I wasn't even a 21st century dad at that point. Like, I think we all get into that spot where we're so frustrated and you feel such failing. That's when my babies were crying. What I heard that as they're crying, what I heard them saying was, "You're failing, you're failing, you're failing," and that agitation. And so
it's amazing.
My point is, if I felt like that, and I know that the baby doesn't have meningitis, and I can tell if the baby has an ear infection, and I know that nothing dangerous is going on, and other people don't, that they bring their children to me to say this unit's malfunctioning. What's wrong with it? I know that. And so if I can get to that, anybody can get to that.
Sometimes we plan these things out as far as what we're going to talk about. That's 1 out of 10 podcasts. Most of the time we start off with something and then we watch where it kind of navigates and goes. And that will lead, unfortunately, the listeners hearing some of the things more than once. But we really would rather it be much more organic. One of the things that it made me think about when you were just kind of going through that, and completely lost my train of thought just now. And it was really, really a good one. I was thinking about what you said to my sister when she was, okay, got it. One of the things that I think is vitally important for the younger parents, but in reality, we're all new parents. Each child is different. You're either a new parent of a 20-year-old or a new parent of a 20-minute-old, or it's still all new. It's new to everybody. And then you have one kid that slept through the night, and you got the next kid who doesn't ever sleep and just screams. So it's always different. We talked, a long time ago, and I'm a contractor, and I say to homeowners sometimes, I work with my wife, and we'll go in, I'll go, listen, I can't imagine what it was like to be the first woman who gave birth. Whoever it was, the first woman who gave birth, no one there telling her, by the way, this is going to hurt worse than you can ever imagine. This is going to come out of you. This is going to come out of you. You're going to bleed. You're going to tear. This is going to happen. The baby's going to be purple or blue when it comes out. It's going to look like an alien coming out of you. If you're black, it's coming out white. If you're this, it's coming out blue. And all those things that someone tells you now, and you go, oh my gosh, had I not known that would have been really terrible. I think one of the things that's incumbent upon us in our message, right, to the folks there, is just to share the things that we did in order to get through that level of the video game, right? And to say, you're going to want to kill them. it's okay, but don't.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You're going to want to curse at them like you are at sea,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
There's a negative
Mhm.
for doing these things. You're going to want to walk out of the house and not come back. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
We wanted to as well.
Right.
That's I think that's one of the things that's so important. And I want to tell a brief story. I saw did I tell the story about when I was at the fundraiser at DeMatha with the pilot where we were doing the podcast. So there's a buddy of mine. He's a dear friend. He's one of those guys I haven't seen in a while, but I always fall right back to the old groove when you see him. I asked him, I'm like, hey, how's everything going? So, oh, everything's amazing. Everything's perfect. It's so great, blah, blah. How's the family? Tell me about the kids. Well, this one's great. This one's great. That one's great. And that one's great. I was like, that's amazing. And he asked me, he's like, how are you doing? What's going on? I'm like, oh, well, everything's, I have nothing to complain about. This one was, at school and has been asked to leave school. And this one has changed what she's doing 3 times. And now we're at this one and blah, 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 blah. But they're both healthy and they're good people. And how much more can I ask for at this age? I think they're gonna be okay. And he hung his head and looked at me and said, I'm sorry. And I went, no, don't be sorry. I'm blessed. And he said, no. I forgot who I was talking to. This one's a freaking mess. This one's in therapy session. We're worried this one's not going to ever get out of bed, right, and graduate. And with this one, we're holding on by a. And he just told me nothing bad, but normal
authentic
things.
life. Authentic
Yes.
life.
So
real.
Go back to that Facebook deal, right? Where we have the perfect life, and all we do is travel to wonderful places and lovely, and we have this is perfect, and this one's perfect, and then you have problems in your own life, and you go, no one else is experiencing this but me.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's so important, I'm so happy we did this, is sharing it with our listeners, which is great. But I hope that it encourages them to share it with their inner circle, that they'll sit with their friends and actually share the challenges they're having, right? I can remember the first time I heard about somebody who had to go to therapy because they had depression. And I can remember being like, oh my God, that poor family, right? Because back then no one talked. Nowadays, if you have anxiety or if you have depression, real, not the made up stuff that some people have, the real stuff. No, really, you know the difference.
I do.
The real, if you really are dealing with that, share it. You don't hide when you have a torn ACL. You don't hide it when you have something else you need from a doctor. You don't hide it when you have a respiratory infection. Or, hey, look, I'm having this challenge and I'm working through it. It's just share those things.
Listen to this one. I had a mom come in one time. This was years ago. Wonderful family. They had 4 kids, so I got to know them well. And she came in one time for a checkup, and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" She goes, "Not good." Oh, okay. And it was for like the 3-year-old checkup, which like not much. I mean, important. But like it's not an emotional check. Not good. Oh, what's going on? She goes, "I'm pregnant," and I went, "Congratulations." She goes, "No." She goes, "I was done. I do not want to be pregnant. My husband had a vasectomy."
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. So there is a failure rate on vasectomy. And
I don't want to talk about that.
I don't either. Right. So, and she was like, my kid's 3. I'm just getting my body back. I'm sleeping. I do not want to fall back down this chutes and ladders game.
Oh.
And we talked, and so we kind of, that was the 3-year-old was fine. So, we ended up talking about things. And when she left, I remember thinking, because I also knew her, I remember thinking, she's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Because she's being it's what you're talking about. She didn't come in and go, "Oh, I'm great." Or even try to go, "Oh, and I'm pregnant." Huh? She,
and then go home and medicate herself with 3 bottles of Chardonnay.
Right. So I remember when she left thinking, she's going to be okay. She's being honest with herself. She's being honest with me. She's going to work through this. And now they have 5 kids, and it's a wonderful family. And of course, she loves the 5th kid just as much as the other kids.
Right.
But it was like a very honest,
Yeah.
Easy, honest moment.
And they've got that $1.5 million from the doctor who did the screw up of the vasectomy, which really helped with the fifth kid. It's very, very interesting. By the way, I would hunt a sausage down. If that, for those who don't know, the good doctor and I had our vasectomies done at the same time.
Together.
We went to Hopkins, had them done together.
Not in the same room.
Rooms
Not in the same room.
adjacent rooms. Same
We did
time.
it so we could recover together and drink and watch movies.
And by the way, to all you dads out there who are fighting the vasectomy thing, you
Get
are
over it.
a sissy, right? I drove myself home. I drove us home from the vasectomy.
You did not. Tanya drove us home.
No, she didn't.
She did. Tanya drove us home.
I drove us
I'm
home.
pretty sure Tanya.
She was here with Bo. I drove us home from the vasectomy, and it's a joke. It doesn't hurt. That's sissies. Anyway,
okay.
So takeaway. Making mistakes is inherent.
Par for the course.
Inherent, right?
Making bad mistakes, making embarrassing mistakes, thinking embarrassing thoughts, yelling and screaming like the bad stuff. Not just I said damn it in front of my kid.
Pick your favorite pro athlete, the best of the best of the best. They make mistakes all the time. Doesn't matter if it's a pitcher, doesn't matter if it's a basketball, doesn't matter if it's a golfer, doesn't matter if it's They make dumb mistakes. They make mistakes of what I would say is you don't beat yourself up over the mistakes as long as they are recoverable things. But don't also ever miss a good opportunity to apologize to your spouse or to your kids. If you make a mistake and you know you've made that mistake, let them know you made that mistake. Let them know that you own that mistake. That's one of the things that I didn't do in the beginning, but that I learned relatively early on. And it's one of the things I'm most proud of, because when I see one of my kids come to me and say, "Hey, I'm really sorry. It's my fault." That makes me feel like Lou. That makes me feel like Lou when he saw the thing today, right, about the 10,000 kicks. So I would say own your mistakes. Try your best to learn from your mistakes. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to make them over and over again. If alcohol hurts you, your decision-making process, or your, lack of sleep, or if you bring your work home with you, you got to make changes if you're continuing to make the mistakes. But also you can't beat yourself up, because it just means you're human.
Maybe next time we'll jump right into like some more strategy. Like, what do you do when you make a mistake? That's a good jumping off point.
Easy one.
All right,
Lou, good.
Real good. That was awesome, guys.
You all right?
Yeah. One of the things. Now that we're done. The thing I was thinking about, you guys are talking and making mistakes, and when you're talking, forget about grown-up relationships, but grown-up to kid, and as a coach, right, trying to translate what you know to someone who doesn't have any of the experience, knowledge of any kind, really, to really, absorb it and do anything with it. I remember talking to a buddy of mine. We were coaching scoopers, and he's a 3-time All-American, big-time player, whatever. I said, why don't you help coach? And he said, I can't. These kids aren't going to understand what I'm going to tell them.
Right.
And so I thought it was selfish a little bit, but I got it.
He knew himself.
He knew himself, and he knows what he can't translate that to that age.
He's going to yell at 5-year-olds, "The secondary slide! Where's the secondary slide?"
So all that stuff, right? And so
Peyton Manning on SNL, right on the ball.
Right.
And then you have things like sarcasm.
Oh yeah.
Which you talk about depression and anxiety and whatever. Sarcasm is something that, frankly, I've spent thousands of dollars treating. And I'm still working.
You are. It's so funny. I was thinking we could do a whole episode. You are so right about that. Kids don't get sarcasm,
they don't.
and it actually really hurts.
And you don't know it until you know it.
Yeah, it hurts a lot.
That was one thing that I did too often, and I have so many silly little things of having to run after the kids to explain to them, what Daddy meant and this and that, whatever else. But the one that gets me, because they're on the fence. You think they got it, right? 6th grade boys. You think they got it.
They're starting to bring their own sarcasm.
You think they're men, right? Yeah. And so I'm coaching them, and we're playing a team. And my team, we were very athletic, all bigger kids. Always looked like we were going to dominate. The other team had fear in their eyes. They were half our size. But when we started to play basketball, it all fell apart, right? And So we were down, and at halftime I said to these boys, guys, really, you got to get out there and you got to fight. You got to really, get after it.
It turned into the start of unnecessary roughness in the second
It looked
half.
like Canada versus USA, 8 seconds into the game, and my boys are shoving and tripping and cursing and whatever. The game ended halfway into the fourth quarter because of all the nonsense, and the ref just walked off.
One kid took the head of the stick off, tried to stab the other kid with it.
I said, guys, what happened? They said, you told us to fight. I said, no, that's not what I said. I know I said
that's
it.
not what I meant.
Yeah,
that's not what I meant.
So anyway, and that's not exactly sarcasm, but the sarcasm thing is super real.
Yeah.
Especially older, younger. Which
Do you know how I
They don't
learned
get
it?
it.
Do you
They
know
don't
how I
get it.
learned it? I didn't learn it from the kids. I learned it because with Bowen having the Brazilian nannies, languages, they don't learn that. They're learning,
Where's the bathroom?
right. Donde es una biblioteca, right? Like they don't, where is the library? When you say to them, when 6 of one, half dozen of the other, and they go,
no, it's literally like speaking without even sarcasm, even just trying to translate as an adult to
right.
It's like a different language.
And colloquialisms they don't
all
get,
of
the
it.
kids don't get.
Yeah.
That's I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally agree
Super
with you.
fun.
Yeah. By the way, I thought that was actually a very. I'm not sure when this one goes in the release of the things, but
it goes early-ish.
I think it goes early-ish.
It goes early.
But
Like
the first thing
3.
you have to do is prove a little bit that we're worthy to be listened to.
Mhm.
Then you drop that in
I think
there
this
and
is
you
the
make
third or
yourself
fourth.
relatable.
Yep.
Then you go into I think that's the case. Okay.
Well, the 8x10 glossies are going to solve that problem.
Glossies. Oh my God.